Wow, the Nintendo 3DS, such a marvelous little machine. Circle pad, a glasses-free 3D screen, and headphone jack? Yeah, the 3DS wasn't the big upgrade from the DS people were looking for. It was the same device with a random gimmick thrown in and a crappy excuse for an analog stick. Sure, it was more powerful than the DS, but what were you using that extra power for? Rayman 3D? So yeah, why buy a brand new system when it had a terrible game library and would make you sell your kidney to afford it? No one even wanted to pay $250 to play Steel Diver. The 3DS had a troubled start, but we did know of some excellent titles that would grace the system. A new Mario Kart, a Smash Brothers, and not only was a new 2D Mario confirmed for the system, but a 3D one as well. This got people talking. Over on the DS, we got Super Mario 64 DS, the true first 3D Mario to go. But you can't give that title to it fully, considering it was just a remake. No, we still wanted a true original 3D Mario to play while going to the bathroom. In November of 2011, the system received a price drop from $250 hairs to $170. This was much needed and happened alongside the release of two must-have games, Mario Kart 7 and Super Mario 3D Land. This is the brand new 3D Mario game on the go, the first of its kind, a true monumental moment in Mario history. The 3DS experienced quite a large amount of success after this, and sold a total of 80 million units in its lifetime. Not quite as much as its predecessor, but that's nowhere near close to a failure. Super Mario 3D Land is one of the most forgotten Mario games. It's hardly brought up, and I, for one, don't understand why, so I'm taking a critical look at it to figure that out. First up, the gameplay, and it's the most unoriginal gameplay in the Mario games. Imagine a new Super Mario Bros. Game, but you can move in a 3D space. That's this game. So going back to Super Mario Galaxy, a fantastic game no doubt, it always felt a little different than past 3D Mario games. Still had the same premise, enter a level, select a star, find that star, but it felt a lot less open-ended and about exploration than those previous games. In both 64 and Sunshine, you could select a specific mission but complete a completely different one. It's all about running around and exploring the open world, seeing these characters, and looking at the world they live in. It's what made 3D Mario games so fun. Mario Galaxy isn't like that. It's still a fantastic game, but when you select a star to go after, you can't exactly get a different star. The game funnels you in the right direction, giving off a sense of linearity. I don't hate this, it's just different. Mario 3D Land is exactly the game Mario 64 was supposed to be in early development, and the game Mario Galaxy was leading up to. You go through 8 different worlds, going into levels, finding optional star medals, grabbing power-ups, defeating enemies, platforming, and end it all by touching the flagpole. Sound familiar? Super Mario 3D Land is a 2D Mario game in 3D, that's it. It was praised upon release, hated on a few years later, and now nobody cares. I don't think it truly deserves this fate. I have to admit, I kinda like this game. It has its problems, but so do other Mario games. Before I had this game, whenever I went on trips, I would pack my DS and Super Mario 64 DS. It was perfect for plane rides. I would turn it on, get a bunch of stars, put it away, and bam, only 30 minutes left of the 3-hour flight. However, whenever I was bored waiting to leave to go out or visit somewhere, I would try and play it, but then we would leave, I would turn off my console, and lose all the progress I had going after a single star. Mario 64 was not built for this environment. It was meant to be played sat down in a living room and played for hours on end. This is not what it was built for. Super Mario 3D Land is the perfect handheld Mario. It was built for the system, and it works extremely well. If this were on a home console, I don't think I would be so forgiving, but luckily, that would never happen. Totally. Aside from the gameplay itself, the controls are also an important aspect to look into, and they work. When looking back at 64DS again, that game's controls are horrendous. The game is amazing, it has so much polish, extra content, it's an amazing game, but holy hell is it difficult to control. Plus, Nintendo's hard. They tried to get this control scheme working on a D-pad, but this just does not work. And why is there a run button? Luckily, the 3DS pushed that cross aside in favor for a true analog stick. Kinda. The 3DS has the circle pad. Kinda like an analog stick, but flat. A lot of people complained about this, but I've never had a problem with it. Sure, it's not as responsive or easy to use as, an analog stick, but it works quite well. I like how it's concave and not convex, which helps me keep a good grip on it. This is not perfect, but a million times better than a D-pad. I don't even want to imagine what controlling this game with that D-pad would be like. That sounds like hell on earth. You run and use power-ups with Y and jump with B, which is pretty optimal. Speaking of power-ups, we should probably get those out of the way. You start each level as normal Mario, get hit, turn into small Mario, grab a mushroom, turn back into big Mario, just like another bunch of games I know. In terms of actual power-ups, we got the Fire Flower, Boomerang Flower, and the headliner, the Tanuki Leaf. The Boomerang Flower is awful. It's just a less effective Fire Flower. The Fire Flower is alright, but I much prefer the Tanuki suit. It's my go-to in this game. It's just like in Mario Bros. 3, you can spin your tail to hit enemies and glide. You can't fly, but it makes sense since the levels aren't really built for that, although it was a little sad. Well, the gameplay is fine, the controls are good enough, and the power-ups are mostly worthless, so how's the aesthetic of the game? Since on the 3DS, I think it makes sense to have a look at the 3D effect first. Crank that slider up, and blam! This is just okay. The 3D effect on the 3DS works. It's cool, but it's entirely a gimmick. No game needs the 3D. It's just there because glasses-free 3D makes sense on a personal device. It's cool technology, and the idea of consuming entertainment in 3D was blowing up during this era. However, Mario 3D Land is probably the best use of the technology. Unfortunately, that's not saying much. The biggest complaint with the 3D effect is how it can hurt people's eyes, and while yeah, that makes sense, it's putting a fair amount of strain on them, strangely, I never had an issue with it. Pilot Wings Resort is the only game I've played where the 3D actually hurts my eyes at all, and it's not that bad. And that's probably because the 3D is really intense in that game. With 3D Land, not only does it look really cool, it doesn't really affect me personally, and it's actually kind of useful. I feel I miss less jumps with it on. It helps me with the precision of some of my platforming. I really like it. There are some little challenge areas where the perspective is off and the 3D helps you get to the end. Listen, the 3D here is a solution to the problem they made to have this 3D seem more important. This is just weird. Now, throwing the 3D aside, what about the game's overall look? It's lame. I don't hate how this game looks, but it's so bland and unoriginal. It blends in with literally every other Mario game. It's colorful and looks nice, but it just blends in. Same with the music. Like, if you threw in some music from New Super Mario Bros., I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. It's good, but not original. So that was Super Mario 3D Land. It's one of the most original games in the series, bridging the gap between 2D and 3D Mario, but at the same time it feels the most unoriginal thing the Mario franchise has pushed out. I don't know why it feels like this, but even though it does, I have a soft spot for this game. It's perfect for the handheld, the level design and camera angles work well for a handheld with stereoscopic 3D. I actually prefer this over an actual 3D Mario on the 3DS. Does it compare to anything like Mario Galaxy or 64? What kind of question is that? Of course not. It has its own charm and definitely deserves more recognition. But I'm glad with it just staying down in the depths of Mario history for me to play every once in a while in the car. Thanks for watching to the end. If you like what you saw, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.